All right, team, welcome to your first briefing. I'm Israel Joshua. We're about to dive into the world of digital forensics, where every single bit and byte can tell a story. We're going to see how investigators piece together digital clues to find the truth, and more importantly, how AI is fundamentally rewriting the rulebook. To really get a feel for it, we're going to work a case together, from the crime scene all the way to the conclusion. Let's get to it. Here's the situation. An employee just walked out the door for the last time. Right after they left, we discovered a highly confidential project file has vanished. The only thing we have to go on is the company phone they handed in on their way out. So the big question is, where do we even begin? What happened to that file?
Okay, so this is where it all starts, securing the digital crime scene. Before we even think about powering on that phone or plugging it in, we have to follow protocol, and I mean strictly. This isn't just about being neat and tidy. Every single step we take has to be documented and defensible, because if we do this right, our findings will hold up in court. Get it wrong, and the entire case could fall apart before it even begins.
What we're doing here is called digital forensics, and you need to think of it as a science, because that's exactly what it is. It's a structured, methodical process for pulling the facts out of digital devices. There's no room for guesswork. It's all about applying a rigorous, repeatable process to let the data tell its own story. And every investigation we run will follow this exact playbook. First, we identify where our evidence might be. Then, we preserve it, making sure nothing can alter or destroy it. After that, we collect the data, examine it, and then dive deep with our analysis. Finally, we wrap everything up in a detailed report. This 6-step process is our foundation. It ensures we're thorough and that our results are reliable every single time. Now, a massive part of preservation is something called the chain of custody. Think of it like this. It's the evidence's personal diary. It is a detailed, unbroken log of every person who has touched that evidence, when they touched it, and exactly why. If there is even one tiny unexplained gap in this chain, a single moment where it's unaccounted for, the evidence can be challenged and thrown right out of court. So let me be clear, meticulous documentation is absolutely non-negotiable. It's also critical to understand the two kinds of data we're hunting for. First, you've got volatile data. This is the stuff living in the device's RAM. It's short-term memory. It's fragile. The second you turn the device off, poof, it's gone forever. But it can hold incredible clues, like running programs or active network connections. On the other hand, you have non-volatile data. That's your hard drive, your storage, the files and logs that stick around. An investigator's first mission is almost always to capture that delicate volatile data before it disappears. All right, we've covered the principles. Now let's get our hands dirty and start the actual investigation. Our first job is to hunt for the data that our subject probably thought they got rid of. You'd be amazed what people think is gone forever when it's really just hiding in plain sight. And this right here is the magic that makes so much of digital forensics possible. When you delete a file, whether it's on a Windows system with NTFS or a simple USB drive with FAT32, the data isn't actually shredded. All the system does is remove the pointer to that file. It's exactly like ripping a chapter title out of a book's table of contents. The pages of that chapter, they're still right there in the book, waiting to be read, until something new gets written over them. So what's the first and most important rule of the lab? You never, ever work on the original evidence. Ever. If you do, you change it, and your case is toast. Instead, the very first thing we do is create a forensic image. This is a perfect bit-for-bit clone of the phone's storage. We then use a cryptographic hash, think of it as a unique digital fingerprint, to prove our copy is 100% identical. From this point on, all our work is done on the clone, leaving the original evidence untouched and pristine. Okay, so now we take that perfect image and we load it into a tool called Autopsy. It's a powerful piece of open-source forensic software. We tell Autopsy to ignore the files we can see and instead go searching in what's called unallocated space. Remember our book analogy? This is like telling it to read all the blank pages, the spots where deleted files might still be lurking. Autopsy then scans that space for file signatures, which are basically digital fingerprints that scream, "I'm a PDF" or "I'm a JPEG," even if the file name is long gone. And bingo. There it is. The tool finds the signature for our missing file. It pieces the data back together from that unallocated space, and just like that, it reconstructs the document. The file system's index entry was gone, but the data itself was still there, waiting for us. This is a huge breakthrough. But believe it or not, getting the file back is only half the story. Recovering that file is a massive win for sure, but it opens up even bigger questions. How did this file get off the company network? And where did it go? To answer that, we have to look way beyond this one phone. We need to dive into a massive ocean of network data. And for a test that big, we have to bring in the AI detective. And here's why. A company of any real size can generate millions, sometimes tens of millions, of these little log entries every single day. From firewalls, from servers, from applications, you name it. Now imagine asking a human analyst to read through all of that, looking for one suspicious event. It's not just hard, it's physically impossible. It is truly finding a needle in a haystack the size of a mountain. This is where AI becomes our superpower. You can train an AI security system on all that data, and it learns what normal looks like. It learns the rhythm of the business. It's like being able to listen to the low, steady hum of an entire stadium full of people talking. But the moment one person in one corner whispers something they shouldn't, the AI hears it instantly. It's our super hearing device for data. So here's what that looks like in practice. The AI builds a baseline for our former employee. It knows they log in around 8:15 a.m., usually move about 50 megs of data, and stick to the finance system. But then the AI spots this, a login at 3 in the morning, a massive 5 gigabyte transfer out of the network, and access to a highly sensitive R&D server they've never, ever touched before. Each one of these is a bright red flag. But here's where the real magic happens, correlation. The AI isn't just looking at isolated events, it's connecting the dots. It sees the user log in at 3:05 a.m. from the user activity log, and then just 5 minutes later, it sees the firewall log showing that massive data transfer to an unknown IP address. It puts those two facts together and issues a single high-confidence alert. This user very likely stole 5 gigs of data in the middle of the night. So the AI has handed us a story, a really compelling one. But here's the thing. An AI alert by itself isn't evidence. It's a lead, a very, very strong lead. But how can we be absolutely certain this isn't just a bizarre coincidence? How do we take this AI insight and turn it into something that will actually stand up in court? Well, that brings us to the final and most critical part of our job. All right, this is the final stretch. We've got our story, we've got our data. Now we have to package it all up for legal review. This means making sure every piece of digital evidence is presented so clearly and is so well documented that it can survive the intense scrutiny of a courtroom. To make sure our case is rock solid, we run it through this final checklist. 1. Integrity. Can we prove with our crypto hashes that our evidence is the exact, unaltered copy of the original? 2. Authenticity. Can we prove these logs really came from our firewall and weren't faked? 3. Reliability. Was our whole process sound? Could another expert follow our steps and get the same results? And 4, the big one, chain of custody. Is every single handover documented, from start to finish? And with that, we've done it. By ticking every box on that checklist, our findings are ready. We started with just a phone. From there, a methodical forensic process let us recover a file that was supposed to be gone. Then, we unleashed AI to find that one critical event buried in millions of logs. And finally, by ensuring our evidence was legally sound, we built a complete, undeniable story of what happens. Case closed. So, today was all about defense, reacting to an incident and piecing together what happened. But what if we could get ahead of the attackers? Find the weaknesses before they do. In our next briefing, we're flipping the script. We're going on the offense to explore the world of ethical hacking. We're going to learn to think like an attacker in order to build a much, much better defense. Great work today. I'll see you at the next one.